Some final thoughts on this amplifier, the 310 or 510 for that matter. Don't forget to change the capacitors. There are about 5 capacitors in the front main board or front board. There are about 2 over here approximately that regulate the current to one of the controller chips that there is in the board. And there is, I think, to remember, some 3 other capacitors around this area that have to do with the tone controls. I wouldn't spend much money on the capacitors. I would just use general purpose. I just happen to have some audio quality already in my boxes, and that's why I've used better quality in this amplifier, but it isn't a great sounding amplifier. So I would just use general purpose. If you plan to use some audio quality or you have audio quality, you probably want to use them near the transistor, particularly everything that has its symmetric is probably indicating that it does the audio signal left and right, so that might justify doing some audio quality capacitors in there. This section over here near the speaker output, I'm not sure what purpose it has. Maybe you want to use audio quality over there. I wouldn't do that. It's still general purpose in my opinion. I've put here near the transistor power supply capacitor from Nichicon. I could have done the same over here. I could have put some, Chemicon. Well, this one is maybe Nichicon, but quite often I use Chemicon for the power supply sections. And that probably is one of these. What else to say on this? Speaker protection is very basic. I've never had an amplifier where you turn it on and so quickly you have the sound coming out of the speaker. So probably it doesn't do much of a check. It's probably a very basic speaker output protection. Actually, I can hear a little pop through the speakers, which I haven't heard from any decent amplifier in ages. Remember, there is another capacitor here in the output side of the transformer. That's probably for standby functions. And I don't know if I said you shouldn't be paying more than 10 or 20 euro or dollar for this amplifier. This is not much worse than that. The potentiometers really have a very bad feeling. They are no Alps, so yeah, very, very bad feeling, these potentiometers, even after cleaning them with deoxide. I think I've mentioned that the sound goes via the ribbon. It doesn't have relays for the inputs. It's probably this chip that controls the input, so it will have some sound contamination if you have multiple devices active at the moment. Probably some of that sound will be contaminating to the active input. What makes this amplifier, actually where Sony has spent a lot of money in this amplifier, is in all this standby circuit. If we look at the power section, so this is the input cable. These cables over here are what gives some power to the outlets where you connect the CD player, cassette deck, etc. Then this ribbon over here goes to the power button. So the power button then fully turns off or on the transformer. And then on the other side, on the output side of the transformer, you will see again also connected to the power section. And what else? Oh yeah, and here we have then some power supply to the main board when it is in standby mode. That explains that transistor probably over there. That is probably also to have related to the standby function. So the main board, so the electricity coming from this cable here that goes straight into the bigger capacitors for filtering, that is probably the power supply that is then in standby mode, fully switched off. Yeah, so you will probably want to use in those sections, so here under that board, yeah, that transistor, you want to use probably Chemicon KZNs, Nichicon's PWM, maybe a Rubicon's PK, that sort of series.